It's time for another behind the scenes look at my YouTube channel. This is for April 2017. This is going to be kind of a quick flyby, just looking at the numbers. One new patron in April, hooray! 2 videos released, one of which was a science video, and 16 new subscribers in April. You can see that we ended the month up at 151 subscribers, so we're still making progress and growing. The total earnings for February from Patreon were $42.97, and I used it to buy soda. When you put Mentos into soda, you get a fantastic reaction. But why? What causes the fountain of soda to shoot into the air? If you look up why soda and Mentos react on the internet, you find 2 answers. One explanation is that it's a chemical reaction between the sugar in the Mentos and the soda. The other explanation is that it's a physical reaction of the carbonation being released all at once. Which answer is correct? This question can be a great tool for teaching the scientific method because you can test these 2 hypotheses by putting different things into the soda. Granulated sugar doesn't make a very impressive fountain. Gummy bears aren't all that impressive either. But sour gummy bears, which have more texture, make a taller fountain. Here's table salt, a small lava rock, and sand. And if you're wondering, why sand? Why would sand react so well? There is a fantastic journal article published in the American Journal of Physics in 2008 that explains it very well. I'll put a link in the description so you can check that out. The short answer is that it is just a physical reaction, not a chemical reaction. All of the dissolved carbon dioxide gas is coming out of solution all at once. But if you want to see a great soda fountain that does involve a chemical reaction, just use baking soda. Thank you again to my patrons for providing the budget for the soda pop this month. I shared that with several hundred kids. I did the experiment 5 times at 3 different schools, and it was a really big hit. A lot of kids really liked it, and a lot of the teachers were very surprised about how the sand reacted. Another big milestone in April was that my total YouTube earnings passed $1. My total earnings on YouTube are now up to $1.01. Now, this is not earnings just for April. This represents earnings for a solid 6 months of work. So if anyone ever says to you like, oh, I think I'd like to post a couple videos on YouTube and make a lot of money, you can provide this as a counterexample. And the last number of the month is 499. That's how many views we had in the month of April. So we shared science with a lot of people, which was fantastic. And reviewing goals for last month, I wanted to update Patreon, really close to getting that done, and figure out a better way to do captions. I kind of get the sense that some of the other bigger YouTubers know more about doing captions than I do. They'll say things about uploading scripts, having a script to upload. Still haven't figured out what that's about. But I've decided that for now, the best system that I've found for doing captions on YouTube is the system that is in YouTube itself. If you have a long video that's 15 minutes long and you talk really fast like I tend to do, then it's going to be like a solid 2 to 3 hours of work, and you just gotta do it. Goals for next month are to grow. I know there are people out there who would like to see a channel like mine, but how do I find them? It's really challenging. I think back in maybe 2005, the internet was a little less crowded. YouTube in particular was just starting out, and I think back then you probably could put a good idea on YouTube and it would get attention just by virtue of being a good idea. But now, YouTube is so crowded. Thousands of videos are uploaded daily, and I think it's not enough to have a good idea. You also have to have good marketing and good positioning, otherwise people will not know you exist. So the question is how? How do you market well and find your audience? I happened to meet several people who were marketing gurus at the Las Vegas Writers Conference, and I asked them about my channel specifically and got some good advice. It was very reasonable advice, and then I heard about the Las Vegas Science and Technology Festival, where they were inviting scientists to come into classrooms and share science lessons in the first part of May. And I thought, I should do 100 science lessons as a volunteer, because why be reasonable when you can work ridiculously hard instead? And I was also really curious, what would happen with the analytics? I was really curious if I just get more exposure, what's that going to do to the data? So I set out with this crazy plan and booked up the whole entire first half of May with school visits where I'm spending 6 to 8 hours a day at schools doing science lessons. And then I wondered if I was not being very smart about how I was approaching my business plan to spend this much time doing outreach when really probably what I needed to do was to devote more time to producing content. I just needed to be making more videos. So that's what I was thinking when I went into my first day of volunteering at schools. And then after one of my lessons, I asked the kids if they wanted to share what they had learned. And one little girl replied, "I learned that science is amazing, and I never thought I would think that." Oh, it was an amazing moment. This is my passion. This is really what I want to do. In the month of April, I also gave notice to the jobs that have a paycheck saying I wasn't going to be coming back next year because I want to pursue Science Mom and writing. So I'm taking that big leap off into the unknown, really hoping that it's going to work. And the cynical side of me is kind of saying, you know, your paying jobs, your part-time jobs with paychecks pay you about $2,000 a month, and Science Mom and your writing cost you an average of about $200 a month. So we can see how this is going to add up. It's not going to work out very well. I hope it works. I hope it's not just a big flop. Anyway, thank you for watching, and thank you especially to those of you who are already on Patreon supporting me. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you next month.